This video is brought to you by America First Insight. Help support the growing conservative movement by becoming a member today. And if you want to support this channel, you can also use the code REAL when becoming a member. Thank you and enjoy the video. As everyone knows, there has been a lot of infighting within the Republican Party in the last couple of months. And let's be clear about this, some of the infighting is over legitimate issues with the Trump administration. Let's be clear, some of these issues that people have, such as the botching of the Epstein files and not enough deportations, stuff like that, those are legitimate issues people have. And I would argue talking about certain issues you have with Trump's administration, that's not really infighting. That's just common sense. Like, yeah, if you have an issue with Trump, if you're halfway reasonable, talk about it. And we have a discussion about it. There's a lot of issues I do have with Trump's second term. But at the same time, you have people running around and saying, this is the worst presidency ever. It's all over. President Biden was a better president. Yeah, you have people on the right saying Biden was a better president. We would have been better off if Harris won. It's insane stuff like that. That's where it becomes a problem because it's nonsense. That is ridiculous. These people, they're poisoning the well. And at the same time, everybody's talking about the infighting on the right because it is a serious issue Republicans have to deal with. How do you deal with a bunch of this nonsense infighting where, yes, some of it is legitimate, but a good chunk of it is just bullshit. It's insane. But at the same time, nobody's talking about the infighting that Democrats are having right now. And you could argue the Democrat Party to this day has far bigger problems than Republicans do. Now, I'm not saying Democrats have more infighting. I don't think they do right now. But people are making it sound like the Democrat Party's 100% unified. Everybody loves them. They have no issues. I made a whole video yesterday talking about the fact that their fundraising is garbage. Their fundraising collapsed compared to Republicans. Republicans right now, they're breaking every single record. Democrats are crashing and burning. Their apparatus is imploding. Nobody's giving them money. And on top of that, well, look at this headline from Axios. Absolutely pathetic. The left rages at Democrats on ICE. Yeah. Despite the fact that the Democrat Party at this point, they're all but calling for abolishing ICE and effectively gutting them, they're now saying within the party, it's not enough. And now they are fighting each other over ICE. You can't make this up. The Democrat Party at this point all but supports abolishing ICE. Maybe not officially, but they support gutting ICE completely, making it where they can't really deport anybody. They got to get these nonsensical warrants that take forever to get, and then they can deport only a couple people, and that's it. That's what the Democrat Party supports now. But no, apparently that's not enough for these people. They're saying no, that we want even more. It is insane. House Democrats are facing increasingly frustrated demands from their left flank not to give the Trump administration another inch at ICE funding. That could mean shutting down the Department of Homeland Security, which is set to run out of cash on Friday, unless Congress agrees to a funding stopgap. Which, by the way, even if these morons shut down DHS, it doesn't matter because ICE is still funded for years. Did people forget what the big, beautiful bill did? The same thing that Thomas Massie and others tried to stop? Yeah, the one big, beautiful bill included funding for deportations for years. So even if they shut it down, it doesn't stop it. That is the stupidest thing about this. It doesn't matter what they do and try to shut down DHS. ICE will continue deporting people. So what's the point? What's the point of trying to defund DHS? These people are delusional. They have no clue what they're talking about, but they have convinced themselves, oh, we're going to stop deportations this time. Really? Trump did not use all of his political capital on the one big, beautiful bill just to stop deporting people. He's going to say, no, we're going to keep operations going, and you can't do anything about it. Shut down DHS, which, by the way, you know what happens if you shut down DHS? Stuff like FEMA is impacted. Yeah, let's impact FEMA right after a massive storm hit a good chunk of the country. What's the worst that could happen? I don't think Democrats thought this through, but they really think, oh, we'll stop Trump by defunding DHS. Really? That's your plan? Shut it down, shut it down, shut it down. Congresswoman Ramirez told Axios, and maybe they'll take us serious and understand that we are unwilling to negotiate some minimal crap. So you're going to defund DHS, which controls FEMA and the Coast Guard. You see the problem here? This would be politically stupid. And that's why Democrats in leadership, they kind of realized, oh, maybe we shouldn't defund DHS right now. Maybe we should have this nonsensical stopgap bill. Congress voted last week to pass a bill funding most of the government until September, but keeping DHS open until February 13th. The short-term DHS measure was meant to give the White House and Democrats time to hammer out reforms of ICE and Border Patrol following the fatal shootings of Alex Preddy and Renee Good, but a compromise has not materialized, and the two parties appear far apart on the issue, with some Republicans saying that would sooner expand ICE operations than reform the agency. Yeah, so Republicans are already saying, no, we're not going through with this, because at first, reforms meant like body cams, stuff like that, like the minor tweaks where everybody has a body cam or stuff like that, stuff that anybody can agree to. But the problem is, Democrats went off the rails. They went off the rails completely. Instead of trying to agree to some stuff like that, they just said, nope, we want everything. We want to make it where they have body cams. We got to stop deporting people. You need these nonsensical warrants on everything. You can't do anything. No patrols. It's insane. But they really thought that this would work. More than a half dozen progressive Democrat House candidates expressed frustration to Axios that Senate and House Democrats have repeatedly given Republicans the necessary votes to keep the government funded. I think Democrats have leverage, and I urge us to use it to the fullest extent. It's absolutely pathetic how much leverage we forfeit as a party. House Democrats gave up their leverage, and with it, a critical chance to protect people from DHS and ICE abuse. What leverage? You notice at the same time, they both say, oh, we have leverage. We can use it right now. We got Trump on the run. And 2 seconds later, no, we have no leverage. We forfeited everything. You never had leverage. And that's the thing. Democrats convinced themselves that they had all this secret leverage to defund DHS. No, they didn't. They couldn't do shit. Trump was never going to cut any of ICE's budget. He was never going to do that. But these morons, they really think, they have gaslit themselves into thinking that, oh, we have the leverage. Trump's going to bend the knee any minute now. It's just crazy. First, they said we need basic reforms. Then they said, no, we got to ban patrols. We got to give these nonsensical warrants. And now they're saying, no, you got to defund ICE. You have to defund ICE. Democratic leadership says they want to keep negotiating. Negotiating what? They just gave away their only power to cut ICE's $175 billion budget. Again, Trump is not going to budge the money. He's not going to budge on it. I know people like Rand Paul, they want to cut the funding, but guess what? Trump is going to say no every single time. So will basically every single Senate Republican and even in the House. Outside of Thomas Massie and Rand Paul and like Murkowski, wow, you're going to totally get this through. No, you're not. But Democrats, they really think that, like, it's just crazy. They, at the same time as they think, oh, we have all the leverage in the world to do what we want, at the same time they think, nope, all the leverage is gone. Democrats gave it up. You never had leverage. And in my opinion, it was always stupid on Trump's part to ever agree to any kind of stopgap. Just say no. You want to shut the government down? Go ahead. He should have done that because DHS, or I should say ICE especially, would not be impacted by this. Yes, stuff like FEMA would, but just say no. Just say no. We're going to keep the government funded, or we're going to keep it shut down, and unless you back down on this offer, we're going to say no. That's why it was always nonsensical. But now Democrats, they're finally realizing at least a little bit they may not have any leverage. They never did. Democrats need to hold the line and not give the Trump administration any space to fund more ICE terror and attacks our communities. My gosh, what are these people talking about? These are all major progressive candidates across the board, and they're all saying the same thing. Oh, we got to defund ICE. We got to abolish it. You first wanted them to reform it. Now it's, nope, not enough. Got to defund it. And now Republicans are realizing, oh, they backed down the original offer. The original agreement was basic reforms. They're going to iron out the details, but out of nowhere, they dropped an insane list of demands that everybody knows will never happen, that even Republicans would never agree to. For many of these candidates, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer also didn't go far enough with their 10 proposed reforms ICE. Are you serious? For those that don't know, Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, they released this list right here, which anybody can look up. And like I said, it's nonsensical crap. They said, no, you cannot deport certain people. No, you can't go to certain locations. No, can't do this, can't do that. No patrols, blah, blah, blah. Require ID, targeted enforcement. It's nonsense like that, where it basically makes it impossible for ICE to deport anybody. It just makes it impossible, makes your job even more difficult, which, by the way, again, this was not the agreement that Trump and Republicans made with Dems. It was supposed to be stuff like body cams, stuff like that. But no, they added this other nonsense. But apparently, even these reforms that they themselves wanted didn't go far enough. And again, I should have expected this when they said, no, we wanted to abolish ICE. But no, even the proposed reforms that they themselves wanted, it's insane. They're just saying now, nope, the reforms, they were bad. It's only a step in the right direction. Some of these feel like redundant requests. I worry that we put them forward as demands. We almost normalize the administration's failure to meet the law. This right here is what Democrats have to deal with. This crap right here, this nonsense, more half solutions and empty promises. What empty promises? This was far more than the original agreement or the original proposal was. This is way more. But according to these lunatics, nope, not enough. And right here, they even admit, I don't think we can let this continue any longer. Longer term, abolish ICE. Shorter term, I don't think we can continue any funding opportunities for that department. So that's what they want. They went from supporting some halfway reasonable reforms to they want these 10 insane proposed reforms to now, no, abolish ICE. And the Democrat Party sucks because they're not abolishing ICE. You see how quickly the Overton window moves in the Democrat Party? It moved in the span of like a week. It's insane. Now the normal position within the base is abolish ICE. That's the Democrat Party right now. They have a bunch of infighting, especially with leadership. They're pissed off that Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, they did not go far enough with the reforms. Yeah. Wow, it's insane that this is actually real. So yeah, DHS more than likely, unless something crazy happens, will be shut down. Though this shouldn't impact any deportation efforts at all. All it's going to do is impact stuff like FEMA. But wow, what is this? This is actually a real thing. They move the goalposts this much in a week to the point of saying, nope, Democrats backstabbed us. Really? Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, and of course, join the channel today. Godspeed to all of you.